Hello, my name is Renee Marski and I am an author, and I have been writing for probably about, seriously writing, publishing for the last 2 years, although I've been writing for most of my life. Writing is one of my huge passions, and I just love sharing my stories with people. And so I'm doing this video and this YouTube channel as a way to share my writing with you, to share my process, how I do things, and learn how we can go forward. And marketing is just one of those things where it's so hard to know how to reach more readers with your books and what readers want. And a lot of times they always tell you, oh, well, write what you know or write what you want to read. And that's great. And I love writing what I want to read. But at the same time, I want to know what other readers want to read too, because obviously I'm not the only reader in the world. And so I'm kind of hoping that I can just use this to share my passion with everybody. I'm also going to review books. I am an avid reader. On average, I probably read about 4 or 5 books a week, depending on the book length. And I don't typically DNF books. That's not really something that I do. I find that if an author has put a lot of work into it, I will sit down and I will give that book my full attention. Some books are harder than others. I have found that with longer epic fantasies, I tend to have to read that in between my shorter books. So I'll give myself about 2 days to read a book, and then if I finish it early, like sometimes I can finish a book in a day, I'll take that second day and I'll go back to the epic fantasy that I'm currently reading and read that, get a couple of pages in on that, and that seems to help, because sometimes there are books where I find the whole plot and idea and the characters are really interesting, but the author spends so much time world building, and I mean, in epic fantasies you really do have to do a lot of world building, but they spend so much time in world building that it just gets boring. And it's not that the book itself is entirely boring, but let's face it, we've all skipped chapters before, and so I really try not to do that anymore. I want to give the book my full attention and be able to give it an honest review. So I would like to open it up and say that if there are any authors out there who would like to have their books reviewed, I will be doing that. I'm gonna do that here. I always post reviews on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and honestly, my biggest reach is on Instagram at this point, because that's where I've done most of my marketing, where I have a lot of people that I interact with. I am going to be, so it's a lot of cross-posting. I'll also be promoting my own books. I do have a book coming out here shortly for release, and I'm really excited to share that with everybody once I get that back from the editor. Super exciting when those things happen. But I just kind of, wanted to introduce myself, let you know what I'm into. I'm a huge Star Wars, Star Trek fan. I know that's not common. Normally they're at odds with each other, but I was raised by someone who was a huge fan of both franchises, so I've read quite a few Star Trek and Star Wars books. Star Trek books were my major go-to back when I was, in high school. I loved the space and the exploration. I've never tried to write a space book myself. I'm not sure if I'm just intimidated by the whole genre or if it's just not something I've gotten to. Fantasy really seems to be my main plug, although I have definitely branched out into murder mystery, and here recently I wrote a dystopian novel that's going to be a trilogy, so that's kind of exciting. But yeah, no, I'm learning as I go. I'm learning this whole YouTube thing, and I'm learning about different ways to market and get my books out to people. Because honestly, that's really what I care about. I want to share my books with you, and I can't do that if you don't know about them. So I really hope that you will enjoy seeing what I have to offer, and any questions, I'm open to comments, and I will answer things. So I'm just excited to be able to connect with you and connect you to books and things that you may enjoy. So I hope you find what you're looking for.